All right, guys. See if I can make it work. There we go. How you feel?
Good, Chef.
I like that. Woo! Are you guys pretty happy? I see a lot of smiles. I'll tell you, we were talking earlier. Every year we look at the plates from the college and post-secondary students, and we're like, just thought we could do better. This year, we did better. Give yourselves a hand. We were very impressed with your techniques, your knife skills, your planning, your level of professionalism was very impressive, and thank you for doing that. This is the judge crew that was able to stick around. Some of them have actual jobs, had to leave and go back to those. So give these guys a hand. They were on their feet all day with you. So thank you to the judges. Another group I want you to thank is the people on the outside of the room. Your advisors, your parents. If you have only competed on the inside of the room, I will tell you it is much harder to be on the outside of the room for a day like this. Because they're watching you and they know exactly what you're going through and they can't help. And that's what they normally do. So thank them again when you get done for all they've done for you guys. We're going to go through and I'm going to have some of the judges from the different areas just talk about some general things that they saw. General things that they saw and general things you can work on. As I said, overall, this has been one of the best years I've seen in a long time for the post-secondary competition, which is very good to see that you've really stepped it up. So we're going to start with the knife skills and meat and fab. Chef Roddy.
I'm not sure if you're going to hear me or not. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Back there? A little bit? I'll scream. Can you hear me now? I'm probably going to do better that way. All right. If you can't, wave at me if you can't hear me. So knife skills. So I have two of my other colleagues and I did knife skills and protein fabrication. So a couple things to emphasize. First of all, make sure you understand. Can you hear me all right? First of all, make sure you understand and know the knife cuts you're planning to execute, because there were some names that were put to some of the cuts that they weren't the right cut. So very important, not only knowing what you're planning to execute, but know the proper dimensions of those cuts. Because if you're telling us it's a small dice and it's actually a medium dice, it's tough to score that cut. So also know the proper use. There were some chiffonades that were put out there that were not really made from a leafy green. So again, know the definition of the cut you're out to execute. That's going to help you a lot. Process and procedure. Make sure you have a good execution. Make sure you practice all your knife cuts. Your knife is your instrument, just like you're a musician. That's what you're going to be using all the time. So you really need to practice that so that you're able to perform properly. When it comes to protein fabrication, you're given a whole piece of pork that you can do whatever you want with. A lot of you chose just to roast the whole piece of pork or braise the whole piece of pork. Maybe not the best approach, because the inherent nature of that pork, there's not a lot of fat in it. It's very lean muscle. So just to dry roast it, if you didn't do something to it, or if you trim the fat cap off of it, you're not going to yield, unless it's cooked perfectly, you're not going to yield a very moist final product. So very important that you cook that pork only to the point of being done. Or turn it into cutlets and do a quick pan sear on it. So there's different approaches that you can do. Some of you chose to butterfly or pound and stuff and roll. Good execution. Good way to get some more flavors into it, to get some fat content into that pork by adding the sausage and so forth into there, or some bacon. Somebody also larded it on the outside. So that's good, larded on the outside to give it some more moisture. So good approaches. Seasoning on your, stealing chef's cookery. The other one was chicken fab. We saw all different types of chicken fab. Granted, you weren't given how to execute chicken fabrication, but you should still have a process and procedure. You're gonna learn a way in culinary school, or a couple ways that you break down chicken, execute it that way. Follow through, become clean. There's a lot of protein being left on the carcass. there's a lot of the breast meat being left on chicken wings. You want to serve people chicken wings, and you want to leave that white meat on the breast so that you're getting the money portion out of it. So just some practices that you can do. Good execution overall all around. Were definitely some good things. Some good Frenching techniques going on. Some good tipping of those bones going on, so that you allow the juices to come out, so that it doesn't all pull down in the fat part of the protein, looking like it's not all the way done. So some good techniques that we saw, definitely, but we're never good enough. What can we do to be better, and how can we execute better the next time? It's what you always want to think about. So just as Chef said, when you look at your plates, you're always going to think about what can I do to make it better. And good luck to all of you in the results, and safe travels.
Chef. Thanks, Chef Ryan. I found out you got to be nice to this mic sometime. We'll see. Next, we're going to go to the, what was next? What was the next thing you did? You remember? Because it's so long ago. I think we're going to go to the floor judges, the sanitation and mise en place judges. So who wants to speak for them? Chef Long, all right. You want to use the mic?
No, I'll just
hang it.
I'll just talk it. I thought everybody did a great job today, especially the first two things, safety and professionalism. All the three judges that were scoring that, scores were all extremely, extremely high. So the way you came and presented yourself and worked, and the safety, there was virtually no issues whatsoever in those two areas. Okay? You have to understand that you were in a tight area, and so the judges were aware of that. But a couple of things with as far as food storage. Even though you had difficulties with food storage because you had a small amount of space, when you're doing competitions, you want to make sure always to wrap the food, okay, and label it, okay, especially wrapping, because one, denying the oxygen to the food, obviously with Fat Tom, okay, and communicating your knowledge of that information to the judges is important, okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. We know that it's only going in there for maybe a half an hour and then coming out. So a lot of times you might think, well, it's not really that important to wrap it, but by wrapping it, you're going to demonstrate that. And it's all those little skills. You don't demonstrate the skill to the judges, the judge doesn't know that you know that, okay? So competitions are kind of like a show too. You know, if the judge doesn't see you taste the food, you didn't taste the food, all right? So you got to make sure in the future, you know, just things like that. If you did something and the judge didn't see you do it, if the judge comes around the corner, do it again, okay? Because then you'll get credit for what you just did, all right? So that's important, okay? At the beginning with the chicken, okay? Probably about 25% of the people used ice, okay? Anytime you do a competition, even though it's for a short period of time, you want to have ice in the bottom of a half pan. And then put your chicken on the ice, and then a really good practice is to have a Ziploc bag with ice and put ice on the top. So you have bottom and top, okay? Again, you know, you have a limited amount of time, so those people that didn't use ice, the judges are still alive and ate your food, it's not a problem. But that way you can communicate the danger zone or the importance of it, okay? And so that's something to keep in mind. When it gets busy, side towels. We saw a lot of use of side towels wiping plates, okay? And that's a huge cross-contamination issue. So we don't know where those side towels were. So if somebody walks by in your property, you know, the executive chef walks by and you're cleaning plates with a side towel, you don't necessarily know that that side towel is clean. So you want to keep that in mind, okay? Clean as you go. Generally pretty good. I think we were talking about it. Everybody did a really, really good job under the conditions that you have in a small area. Okay, so pretty much it worked out very, very well. Okay. One thing I noticed, which isn't necessarily on sanitation, but usable food scraps. Okay, there was a lot of waste today, and you just want to be able to demonstrate when you're competing, you know the difference between scraps and usable product. So normally what you want to do is, if you can, you want to have 2 containers, okay? So if you, I saw somebody scoop out, you know, breezy on scoop, a squash, and then the squash was in the waste, okay? So that can get used for something else. That can get used for soup or something else. Even if it's going in the garbage at the end of the day today, in an area like this, again, you want to communicate that is not waste, okay? So you just want to kind of keep that in mind, all right? So I think that's, those were the things that we saw. Really, really good job. And also, a lot of the food techniques, okay? There's a lot of really good caramelization and a lot of really good seasoning, okay? So that's impressive. When you guys walk around and you see what you guys were doing, we were all very impressed. Thank you.
All right, next is the salad and soup. Unfortunately, both of the chefs that graded those have all had to go back to work or leave, but
maybe what we'll do is start, if it's okay, chef, start with hot food, start with entrees, and then I'm going to flow in to finish up.
Perfect.
So you'll start it off and I'll finish that one off.
use that if you want. It's a little touchy.
I'm going to use this so everybody in the back can hear me. Overall, I can tell you you will compete again one day. So make sure that you take heed to what everybody's saying here from a judging standpoint. And before you go to sleep tonight, go back to your rooms, think about what you did today, and make sure you write it down, because the little small stuff that you want to improve upon is something that you want to write down and not forget. So make sure that you do that tonight. Overall, we tasted 31 plates in the entree 2 category, and most of everything was really well seasoned. Maybe just a little bit more on the proteins. And again, we're going to go back to tasting. Taste, taste, taste. If you're not tasting your food and you give it to the judges, you don't know if it tasted salty, you don't know if it was over-seasoned, if it was seasoned enough. So make sure that right before everything goes out, that you taste the sauces, have that extra piece of protein or whatever you're putting on your plate, even the vegetables, make sure that you taste those as well. So make sure that when you're fabricating things out, that you always leave yourself one extra one so you can taste that before it goes out to improve upon any kind of cooking technique or finishing it off or making it cook better or taste better when you do that. Determining doneness. There were a few proteins today that were really on the cusp of being a little too underdone, and then there were some proteins that were way overcooked that were just a little too dry. So you got to make sure that, you know, if you have your thermometer, make sure that you're temping it constantly during the cooking process, so that when it comes time plating up, you're not putting out something that the judges can't cut a knife through because it's so dry, or something we can't eat because it's not cooked enough. So that's really important. You want your protein judged. If it's not cooked, we can't judge it. Okay, so that's the most important thing when it comes to plating up proteins and stuff like that. Fresh herbs. There's a huge refrigerator over there, fresh herbs. There were very few of you that use fresh herbs in your products or didn't use them at all. Like the couscous and stuff today that we had. A lot of bland couscouses. You maybe use a chicken stock or something to cook it in, but you didn't add any fresh herbs. I can tell you that judges love fresh herbs. Nice minced rosemary, thyme, whatever. Make sure that you utilize those, especially if you have a full refrigerator of them. Always use fresh herbs before you use dry herbs in competition. Timelines. Walking around today, and you guys will use this as you compete or go down even in your professional life, timelines. Make sure you always have some kind of timeline of where you guys were at. I didn't see everybody had a timeline, but it's so important to have that starting timeline point of 8:45 all the way till the end of your last entree going out. That way you know where you're at during the day, and time can creep up on you like it did today, some of you, where we didn't even get a plate from some of you during some of the courses. But overall, it was really good to see the quality of food that went out and that we judged today, as far as the 31 plates that we tested. And I'm speaking for the entree number 1 as well, because it was pretty much the same kind of critiquing that we came across the table as far as what we saw and what you can improve upon. This is one other thing that we noticed today. Dirty rims. The plates, make sure that you clean your rims of your plates. And that's industry standard, okay? Restaurants, I don't care where you're at, always make sure the rim of your plate is clean. If you need to take one of a paper towel, use some of the white wine, wipe your plate off using white wine, and you'll always get a nice clear plate, and it dries fast, and you can, by the time it gets to the judges, it'll be dry and it won't be a wet plate. But there were a lot of dirty rims today, fingerprints. Use rubber gloves when you're plating up so you don't get fingerprints on the edge of the plates. Okay, those are just little small ideas you could use so that it doesn't deduct any points on the overall just presentation of your plate. But I wanted to say I enjoyed judging today, and I wish the best of luck to everyone here.
Good stuff. Can we hear me? Can you hear me? All right. So just to piggyback on that a little bit, I did walk the perimeter to observe salads and soups. So a couple of the things that I was able to pull out of that, obviously nothing on flavor profiles, more for visuals. There were some sockles. We know what a sockle is, a base. There were some bases used, some crispy bases, or a base that was maybe pan fried to make crispy. Saw chicken breast made crispy, but then you put salad greens over top of it with dressing over top of that. So think about the composition. Think about the composition and what's going to happen when you finally put the finishing touches to that plate, or what you're going to set on something, top of something that is crispy, so that it's going to last until it gets to your customer. Garnish size in the soups or your salad for that matter. Let's just talk size in general. Some of the salads that came out were pretty large. Think about the size of what you're putting out. It's not to be eaten in and of itself when it's a salad course. Soup, salad, entree. How much can one person, how much should, maybe not could, how much should one person legitimately consume at one dining sitting? So think about the size of the portions that you're putting forward. Along with size, salads, more bite size, but also soup garnishes. Think about the size of the garnish that you're putting in your soup. Usually one is not eating a soup with a knife, right? It's usually a soup spoon. Will it fit in the soup spoon? And am I going to choke when I bite on it? So think about the size that you're putting on there. So, but more bite-sized things, more delicate touches. When you're bringing your salad to the plate, best practice is that you dress the greens before they hit the plate. We may have composed salads, a little different, but if you're making a tossed salad that has cut greens on it, I like to even put a little bit of seasoning to it first, because the greens are going to detract from the intensity of the sauce. A little bit of seasoning, dress the greens, and then maybe you can use a little bit for garnish on the plate as well. But it's going to be good to get dressing on all of those. Think about when you eat. If you get a salad with dressing, maybe the first thing you do is give it a little toss at your table. It's better to do that for the customer. Size of the salad. I think that was it. I think that's all I got. Again, great concepts, but fully think it through. Think about you're the one receiving that plate, and again, what can we do to make it better? But good job overall.
All right, a couple of people with just some final words before we break. Chef Paul, would you like to say a couple words?
I broke it. I shouldn't touch it. He told me to keep my hands off, and I wouldn't listen.
That sign, that sign's in a special place right now. Thank you all very much. It's been fun. My parting words for you is there's a time to work and a time to play. You guys have spent the last 6 weeks working, at least 6 weeks, if not longer, practice editions and stuff like that, working to get to this point in time today where you're at.
I don't think it's working very well, so they're not hearing me.
Real slow.
There it is.
Anyway, okay. There's a time to work, time to play. You guys have spent the last 6 weeks specifically practicing for this competition. Enjoy it, savor it. Go out tonight and have some fun within the confines of the rules of SkillsUSA. Although most of you post 21. And the restrictions that are put upon you, so you may say some things until you get home. Relax, enjoy it, and then when you get back to your home schools, home states, and stuff like that, and if this is your career of choice, it's time to get back to work and learn your craft. Be a student of the craft, and don't be afraid to at some point in time to step your toe in on the education side and become a teacher. as most chefs are at some point in time because of our kitchens. We're always training new staff and cooks and dishwashers and such, you know, throughout the line. And become very, 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 very active in your local education facility, wherever you're at. If it's not your home one, if it's wherever you happen to move to, be a part of somebody else's life, be a part of somebody else's career. All of these people have done it. All of your instructors that are standing out there have done it. Reciprocate, be a sponge. There's a time to take in, a time to give back. Have a great night.
And part of that, being a part of the greater membership, is ACF, the American Culinary Federation. I think all of us standing up here are probably members and have been for many, many years. That's how I met most of these people. That's how I got involved in this. It's actually how I got the last 4 jobs I got was through ACF membership. So pick up the sheet. You guys get a half price ACF student membership with this. So pick up one of these sheets. Also, anybody that dropped off your cell phones, they're over here too. You pick those up on the way out. Final words from Chef Smith.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good, Chef. All right. I would like to say that I'm really, really very proud about the group of people sitting in front of me right now. I think it was a fantastic day. I know we all had challenges. There's nobody in the room that didn't have challenges today. We even had challenges we went through from small to large. So what was impressive to me is the way everybody dealt with them, and they stuck to it, and they kept going, and they produced some great, great food. And I'm very, very proud of that. Everybody in this room is a champion. That's why you're here. And I want to just give you some advice. We've been involved in this for a long time on both sides of the fence, as it were. We've all competed, we've all done it, and we've all been involved, as you saw us today, as judges and as facilitators and everything else. Competition is an opportunity for you to express your level of understanding and skill and mastery of skills, but even more important than that, it's about the experience, and that's what I want you all to take away with today. It's not about whether you came in first, or 31st, or 15th. It's about, did you go out there today? Did you perform at the best you could perform today? When you found challenges in what was going on, did you stand up and meet those challenges head on and keep on going, put your head down and just push through and do the best that you could do for the circumstances of that day? Every day is different. And the person that, whoever it is, I wish it could be all of you, whoever comes out on top today, that's what they did today. Tomorrow they might have done completely different. Whoever comes out somewhere else, that's how they did today, and that's okay. It's about the experience and what you walk away with, what you learn from this, the relationships that you make and build from a competition like this. You know, look at the people around you. It's a very small world that we're in. It's a very small world that we're in, and the people that are sitting in the chairs around you are the people you're going to see throughout your career. It's really an amazing thing. So build those relationships, take away from this experience everything that you can learn. I saw a couple people writing notes from what the judges were saying. I saw a lot of people not writing notes. When you get out of here, go write down everything you can remember, because that's part of the experience. And take away everything that you can learn from this, because that's what the competition is all about. It's about what you walk away with up here and the experience that you had. And I think everybody did a great job. You heard this morning that I got my 10-year pin. Very proud of that. I've been doing this for a while. I've seen a lot of competitions with the post-secondary, and I haven't seen the consistency and the quality of work every year that I saw this year. So you all should feel very, very good about that. And the one thing I noticed above all else was the level of professionalism of everybody out there today. Everybody was very professional in the way they handled themselves, the way they communicated, the way they worked at their stations. And I think that's just a wonderful, wonderful thing, because professionalism will carry you extremely far in this industry, okay? Extremely far. Obviously, you got to build those skills, keep working on those skills. You're all at the beginning of your careers. And mastery takes thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions, so just keep working at it. But that professionalism is critical. It's the backbone that allows you to continue to develop. So I want to thank you for letting me be a part of this. And again, I want to say congratulations to everybody out there.
and go out tonight and really feel good about what you did today and how you did today and how you did it. Because I think that's really, really important. So thank you again.
So, one more thing, don't forget, if you have a cell phone over here, don't forget it. Plus, if you want to start that being part of the culinary community now, tomorrow afternoon we have to tear all this down. So if you want to come back about 4:30 tomorrow and help us tear this down, you're more than welcome to come help. Because you can sleep in tomorrow, right? Come back tomorrow afternoon and help us tear it down if you want to. Congratulations. I hope to see some of you next year, very possibly. Or come back and join us. That's right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Good job. Thanks. Good job, guys. For all the grief you gave us. Nice job. You gonna be back?